Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the second session of the Global Sources Virtual Summit. I'm your host, Karen. We have had some very insightful discussion in the earlier session regarding product design, finding the right manufacturers, how to deal with the money issues with your supplier, and a great sharing about digital merchandising earlier in session one. If you didn't have a chance to watch it yet, do go to Global Sources YouTube and watch the replay. Some information was very useful in upleveling your online business. This edition of the summit is brought to you by PingPong, our platinum sponsor. They're your global payment solution and help you simplify your payment for suppliers. You can check out their link and have an estimate of how much you can save if you process your payment via the PingPong solution. Mike has done a sharing on international transaction earlier, and they will also be hosting a roundtable discussion tomorrow to share insights on navigating suppliers and sourcing challenge. Platinum, Gamba, the world's first global marketplace for product development, is our year-round headline sponsor for the summit, and they're providing free consultation plus $500 discount to all our summit participants. So do look for their service on their website and then reach out to them. Last but not least, also our headline sponsor, Zignify, helping brands find the right manufacturers anywhere in the world. You can schedule a free call with them at zignify.net and see how they can tailor a solution for you. Yulia from Zignify have done a couple of presentations this morning, and it was very insightful. So you better go watch the earlier session on YouTube. Before we dive into the summit, I'd like to remind everyone that the famous physical exhibition hosted by Global Sources will be returning after over 2 years of long wait. I trust you have all seen the video that was shown at the beginning of the session. And yes, the Global Sources physical exhibition is returning on October 11th to the 14th at the Asia World Expo in Hong Kong. After 2 years of long wait, our physical show is back. We're delighted to welcome 1,800 quality suppliers and over 50,000 innovative products from around the world, including all types of audio, video, equipment, computer products, wide range of electronics, mobile devices and accessories, home and kitchen products, fashion accessories, personal care items, and a lot more. Expected to be the world's largest professional sourcing event in the past 2.5 years since the epidemic, the show is set to host 100% verified suppliers from 10 countries and regions with their latest products. For all those that uses this QR code shown on screen to register, let's see on screen here to register, you'll get extra incentives, including Octopus Top Up, which is the traveling card in Hong Kong, F&B vouchers to be used at the venue, and supermarket voucher if you're a returning visitor. On-site, we'll also have seminars on the latest trend, especially in the tech aspect and internet security, so don't miss out. In case you're unable to visit us in Hong Kong, there will also be a virtual expo, a highly efficient way of connecting online buyers with on-site exhibitors, as there will be professional host guided tours to the booth using live chat technologies, which enable real-time dialogue among buyers, hosts, and exhibitors. Moreover, buyer can scan exhibitors' QR code shown by the host and visit supplier's homepage to exchange contacts and learn more about their company and what they are to offer. So no matter if you're visiting us physically or virtually, do register now and get the latest update from our exhibition team. Okay, so let's get back to the summit. In this session, we'll have Amy Weiss, who's an expert in marketing for online sales, to share her insight on the product image strategy for maximum conversions. No matter how good your product is, it's very important to present it in a way that can attract the buyers. So don't miss out. Neil McQueen, head of design from Gamba, to share about product development with the cost of product development. Neil has made a very interesting sharing in the last summit, and I'm sure he'll bring more great insights with the latest trend. Then we'll have Frederick to share about product compliance for importers and Amazon sellers. He'll cover the do and don'ts for buying and selling across border and all the requirements if you would like to expand your sourcing and market. Throughout the summit, we'll also be showing videos from Global Sources verified suppliers. There's some very interesting products to showcase, and if you'd like to reach out to them, you can scan the QR code that will be shown in the corner of their video and find their products online and their contacts on globalsources.com. So without further ado, let's bring in Amy Weiss, CEO of Amazing at Home e-commerce consulting, with her presentation on the product image strategy for maximum conversion.
I'm so excited to be here to talk to you about the 7 photo strategy that converts. Now, why should you care about this session? Well, because no matter whether you're a reseller or you're doing private label or white label, whatever your business model, customers make purchasing decisions with their eyes. So they're going to go through your photos and they're going to make that decision before they even look at your listing. So it's really important that you master the photo strategy that you should use that best converts. And this is what I have tested over the years, and people have tried this strategy with their photos and they've had incredible results, like overnight results. Like, Amy, I'm converting. It's really, really great. So I'm so excited to share this with you today. And without further ado, let's get into it. All right, here we go. 7 photo strategy that converts. About me. Oh, geez. Who am I? Well, I am a seller, first and foremost. I started selling on Amazon in 2007. And in 2018, I started helping other people sell on Amazon as well as off of Amazon. I started taking sourcing trips to China. Now I have a sourcing trip in Mexico. I also have a podcast called the Amazon FBA Seller Roundtable. So lots of stuff going on. These are all the ways that you can reach out to me and work with me. So a little bit about our 7 photo strategy and what we do and kind of the reason that it works. What we do first is we start by drafting the listing. So we don't actually start by creating the photos. This is a huge mistake. First, you actually want to draft your listing, and we use a 5 bullet point strategy to draft the listing. And this 5 bullet point strategy actually lines up, then we use those 5 bullet points to create the 7 photos, right? Because you've got your 5 bullet points plus your main photo, that's 6 photos, and you add an extra lifestyle photo. Now you got 7 really great photos that work. So how do we come up with the 7 photo strategy? Well, when I started writing listings and helping Amazon sellers with listings, I really was kind of obsessed with sales. I've always been obsessed with sales. I love sales. I love studying sales. I love selling. I love sales copy. So I'm a nerd about this stuff. And I looked at, in every different sales process that I've ever learned, there is a decision-making process, how customers decide to buy something. So what I did is I actually applied that to my 5 bullet points in the listing, as well as the order that I put my photos in. So this is the 7 photo strategy at work. And in our listing optimization masterclass, where I teach all of these concepts, we've seen people change out their photos to these 7 photos. And man, like overnight, they got, conversions just going straight up. So I hope you're able to use this. Let's start with the main image. The point of the main image is really to make sure that your product stands out from the rest of the products on your customer's page 1, right? So you want to think about, where am I going to be on page 1? Where am I going to be paying for ads on page 1? Where am I going to be standing out, and what should my main photo look like to really show that my product's different and it's worth clicking on? And sometimes you can do this with price, whatever, but you want to make sure that you're not using like the same stock photos as everybody else. You really do want to kind of make it stand out a little bit, right? So the other thing is, if you have retail ready packaging, like if your packaging looks super retail, it's really great to include it in your main photo, because then you're allowed to use text, right? Because it's in your packaging. And customers, they have this mindset that if they've seen it in retail, they trust retail, right? So if you have retail ready packaging and you show that in your main photo, people are like, they just get this idea that they've seen it on store shelves before and they immediately trust it. So it's just a really great way to have customers go, oh, I trust that. Oh, that looks like a good one, right? And click on that. So some main photo tricks. Photo number 2. Now this is where the customer goes, all right, so they see your main photo, they click inside. The second photo really needs to show your unique selling proposition. Okay, so what is the thing that your product does better than your competition? What is the reason they should buy from you and not the competition? You need to show that in a photo. So this is your first bullet point, and it's also the second photo in your listing. And what's really, really important, so you can see right here, we've got unique hand-painted patterns on these mugs, right? Because mugs are pretty common, right? But calling out that these are unique hand-painted patterns, that's a unique selling point, right? We've got this ceramic coffee mug, and we're showing how it's more than just ceramic. It's freezer safe, it's food grade, it's microwave and dishwasher safe, right? You're kind of calling that out. You're showing that it's more than just a ceramic mug. I love to use the example of these double-walled stainless steel, water bottles and water cups, because, seemingly we're all selling the same product, right? But if I do a better job in my second photo showing how this product is specially designed to keep your drink colder for more hours or hotter for more hours, I'm going to win more customers that way. And it's also going to create doubt in the customer's mind about the other ones, because they're going to look at the other ones and they're going to go, wait, but that one didn't say that it was specially designed to keep my drink cold. It doesn't matter if it's the exact same coffee mug or coffee or drink beverage container as everybody else's. It's very important to call that out. Okay. So that's what you want to show in photo number 2. And if you're writing a listing, bullet point number 1, you want to call out, why should you consider my product and not the competition? So the next photo and bullet point is what's included, because after customers go, ooh, this is special, this is for me, I want a hand-painted ceramic coffee mug, right? They want to know what it actually comes with. Does it come with all 4 mugs? How tall is it? How many ounces does it hold, right? They want to know, how big is it? What comes in the box? If you're buying a new car, you wonder the same thing, right? First, you're like, oh, this is the kind of car that I want. This is it. This is the Tesla Model 3. I just bought that one. I love that car. Right. And man, this is really great. But then what do you want to know? You sit inside that car, you open up the hood, you want to know what's included. Does it come with these cup holders? Does it come with this stereo package? What do I get? Right? So that's what they want to know. That's the second question in their mind. So it's always your second bullet point and your third photo. So show what's included, show how big it is. The next photo is your quality or guarantee. Now, I can't tell you how many people have said in their listing, and a lot of people put this at bullet point number 5. I put it bullet point number 3 because it's the next thing that goes to the customer's mind. They go, okay, is it for me? Yes, it's for me. This is special. Then they go, what's in the box? Then they go, wait, is it going to break the minute I get it home? What's the warranty on this thing, right? They want to know that. So show them. And I can't tell you how many people have like a lifetime warranty in their listing copy, and they don't show that in a photo. Are you kidding me? That would convert customers, right? And now that's being said, like, I don't want you to put a lifetime warranty on a ceramic coffee mug, right? That's probably not smart, but there's a great way to show the quality. Professional grade porcelain, right? It's oven safe, it's microwave safe. You're showing the quality. They're showing quality that they can trust, right? So really think about how can you show the quality or the warranty? And then if you're writing the listing, think about how would you write that? And then have a photo that represents it. Write it first, draft it first, then have a photo that represents that thing that you wrote. So let's move on. What do they want to know after, wait, is it going to break? The next thing they want to know is, I just don't know if I need it. I already have a water bottle. I already have a coffee mug. I'll just use the one. I mean, this is nice, but I'll just use the one that I have, right? Well, we want to make sure that we are, actually showing them all the different ways that they can use it, or how or why to use it, right? So a really great thing to do here is show them, how easy it is to use. You could do a comparison photo of different, if you're selling a supplement, for example, you could compare with other supplements and the ingredients inside, but show them how or why to use it, right? In my bullet points, this is what I either explain how or why to use, or I do multiple uses. I show them all the ways it can fit in their life. So this is just a really great way to now, again, tell them, well, wait, you do need it. And you do need it. It's going to fit in your life in all these ways. And look at how easy it is to use. Okay, so the next photo is your product uses. This is the multiple uses. And again, this is usually my bullet point number 4. Usually I show multiple uses. And you can mix up these 2 photos, photo 5 or photo 6. Like you could show multiple uses first, and then you could show a how or why to use. It's kind of optional. You can either use both or just one, whatever fits your product better. But bullet point number 4 is always multiple uses, and it's the next photo in the line. This is where I want to show all the ways it can fit in your life. So you can see this person selling this tumbler, right? And they're showing in your office, outside, with friends, you know, look good with your cheetah print, all the things, right? So it's important to show all the different ways that you can use a product. I guess this photo down here in the corner is not, it's showing that you can make coffee with this, right? But they could also show, you know, that you could use it for hot cocoa, you could use it to store something, right? You know, there's all different ways you could show off this special mug, or, you know, different ways to do that. Or, you know, this could qualify as a how to use, right? So this is where the customer decides if they really need your product after all. Let's move on. What's photo number 7? Evoke the giftability. So I've pretty much decided by this point, if I'm the customer, I'm like, man, I need this. Okay, I need 2 of them because I can use, you know, a mug in my kitchen, and I'm going to give one as a gift, right? But it's really, really great if your product is giftable. It's really great to show it as a gift. And if you're going to write about this in your listing, bullet point number 5 is a perfect place to do this. And if you're going to write about this in your listing, I really want you to focus on gifting keywords, specific giftability, not just like it's the perfect gift for everything, because it's not. It is the perfect gift for a baby shower, or it's the perfect gift for a wedding shower, or it's the perfect gift for grandmothers to grandsons, whatever. I don't know, like you should know your product and you should research this, but you should show that. Even better if you show that in the photo, because people really, like I said, they shop with their eyes. Buying is a psychological experience. And it's really important to understand, what is this a good gift for? Because the minute you remind them of that, they're going to go, oh, I need that for this gift, right? I've done this many times when we're writing listings and creating photo layouts for brands that would, you know, make a specific gift for somebody else, right? And when you show that, you actually get a lot more like multiple purchases, right? So one other thing, if your product isn't a good gift, right? If you're selling headlights for a car, this is where you could show that how to use, why to use, instructions. You could show your authority in the space. Like, we've been in the automotive industry for 25 years. We've been featured in Automotive Today, blah, 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 right? This is a great place to show that. Some people like a reviews photo, you know, is a great place for an extra photo like this, right? So yeah, those are your 7 photos. So in review, you've got your main photo, stand out on your customer's page 1, right? Retail ready packaging, even better. Photo number 2, that's where you're showing your USP. Photo number 3, you're showing them what's in the box. Photo number 4, you're showing them the quality or warranty. Photo number 5, you're showing them multiple uses. Photo number 6, you're showing them how or why to use, or giftability or authority, right? So you've got all of that there. If you use these 7 photos, you cannot go wrong. You can't go wrong. You will convert, and put them in this order, because it's very important to follow the customer's mindset when they're making a buying decision. And that's why we designed this 7 photo strategy. So make sure that you're really, really clear. When you're creating these design layouts for your designer or graphic designer, you know, we do graphic design at Amazing at Home, and we do product photography. And I can't tell you how many times people will just, you know, kind of like not fill out the form very well, and then we'll deliver their photos and they'll go, oh no, this isn't my vision at all. It's like, well, you didn't communicate your vision, right? So you need to make sure that when you're working with a graphic designer or a photographer, no one's going to sell your product better than you. You need to tell them specifically for each of these 7 photos, what do you want to highlight? What is the thing, and that's why I suggest draft the listing first so that you actually have the copy to go along with it. Follow those 5 bullet points I talked about. Send that to your photographer so that you're explaining in your USP paragraph, bullet point number 1, you can give that to your photographer. That's really helpful, right? They know now what you want to show. They know that, your ceramic mug is hand painted, and that's, very important, right? And they're going to point that out in the photos, right? Do as best you can. I usually just create a PowerPoint and because in PowerPoint you can, use the arrows and stuff like that. So if you're not like a super great, designer or anything, and that's why you're hiring graphic design, right? Then PowerPoint's a great way to do that. The other thing I'll do is like a Loom video. You can go to loom.com and you can share your screen and you can just kind of like walk through either your listing or some example photos that you want to show. And you're like, yeah, I really want it to look like this. You can show like competitor listings, whatever. But no matter what, the more clear you are, the better results you're going to get. So it's a really good caveat. Like you can try to use these 7 photos all day long, but if they don't deliver that message that the customer needs to receive, then you kind of get stuck. So, all right, that's it. Any questions you have for me, please feel free to ask them in the chat, throw them in the comments. I'm happy to answer them for you. I do have a special offer for you. If you have a product listing and let's say you're low on sales, you're not sure what's going on, or you just want me to take a look at it, you can go to amazingathome.com/listing-review. Or you can literally just go to amazingathome.com underneath the services menu and choose free listing review. And I will actually make a video of myself sharing my screen, going through your listing, telling you what I love, telling you what I don't love, telling you how you can improve. And then, there's a little spot in the form where you can say, hey, Amy, my PPC is really expensive, or I'm not really sure what to do. And I'll try to also address whatever your concerns are with your listing. So yeah, just have this great offer for you. And again, thank you so much for allowing me to come here today. And thanks for your attention and your time. And I hope that this 7 photo strategy has really helped you. All right, guys, have a great day. Bye.
Okay. Unfortunately, Amy's on a plane traveling at the moment, so she cannot respond to live questions from the audience. So in case you have any questions, as she mentioned, feel free to reach out to her at amazinghome.com, and you get a free review from her website as well. And meanwhile, please type in the live chat and let us know where you're from, and if you're planning to do any sourcing trip in the near future. I'll see if our upcoming speakers can address that as well. Okay, up next. In product development, 2 of the most important aspects are the cost and time. By leveraging the experience of factory development experts, you can reduce the overall cost of product development and launch new products faster. And best of all, we have an expert here with us to share his experience with you and tell you secrets about product development without the cost of product development. We have Neil. Let's see. Let's add him to the screen. Hi, Neil.
Hi, Karen. Good to be with you.
Hi. Yeah, good to see you again. Neil is the head of design from Gamba. How are you?
I'm really good, thank you.
Good, that's great. Neil has some great experience in product development and has worked at Dyson to create some bestsellers. He made a very interesting sharing in our previous summit, and we received some great feedbacks actually from your previous presentation, and they were asking for you to come back, and it's so good that you're here again with us. And so if you have any questions for Neil, don't hesitate to type into the live chat box, and we'll have Neil to address them if time allows. So, okay, I see that you have a deck ready to share with the audience. So without further ado, I'll let you do your presentation.
Great. Well, thank you, Karen. And thank you, everybody, for having me again. As Karen mentioned, as we go through the slide deck and as I present for maybe the next 10 to 15 minutes, if you have any questions, please just put that in the chat and we'll definitely get to it at the end. But really wanting to spend some time today talking through product development, but within the context of how can we do it without the cost? And wouldn't that be a beautiful thing? So in terms of that, just starting with a little bit of background, who is Gemba? And what we are and who I work for is essentially the first product development marketplace. We've been through a Series A fundraising round. We raised $11 million. And what we're really committed to is democratizing the product development process and reducing the barriers to entry. And I think that is very much at the core of what our mission statement is. And, perfectly linked into what we're wanting to talk to you today about, reducing the cost, reducing the barriers. Who am I? I'm the head of design. So I'm really focused on how do I enable both processes and tools and the network to provide you all as client bases and creators the things you need to get products into market. My background is that I came from Dyson most recently, had 10 years there. I have 78 patents to my name. And what I'm really interested in is how can you develop new products that are uniquely differentiated from the competitors so that you can have a really defensible position in trying to leverage market share and essentially have a really sustained, fruitful and profitable business. So that's the background. That's who Gemba is, who I am. Why are we here today? We all know that the economy, the markets, supply chain, it's all very challenging at the moment. And I think it's a perfectly timed conversation piece in terms of for everybody looking to both develop and extend their businesses and have longevity, how do we reduce the time to market, getting to market as quickly as possible, and doing that in the most cost-effective manner so that you can essentially upscale and make as much margin and have as profitable business as possible. For everyone, I'm sure we've got a unifying experience of sitting around the table with teams and other collaborators and saying, well, how do we strategize and come up with the next thing that we'd like to produce and get into the market? And, what is the right step? What are the pros and cons and the trade-offs in terms of time, cost, quality, uniqueness? And what I'd really like to go through with you today is a methodology and an approach that will allow you to essentially systematize and break that down, reduce the time and reduce the cost. So for anybody who is familiar with user-centered design, which is really the process by which we champion the benefits that we provide to our end users. We solve real problems, which then unlocks the ability to positively differentiate from our competitors. Within that process, there are these three guiding principles, which for me in my experience, in my career, I've always deferred to, and I think is a really, really good talking point for us to centralize some of our attention today. And that is to say, for every new idea, will want to buy it. It's feasible. You can actually make it. The funny metaphor from one of my favorite films in terms of you can't be making it out of unobtainium, right? It has to be something that is available within your supply chain. But I think most crucially, and in context of today's conversation, viability. Can I afford to make this? Is this going to provide me the margin and business incentives that will make this a profitable business? So just to, in the ideas that we take and bring forward to product development, desirability, feasibility, but most crucially within the economic climates of today, the viability of that idea. Can I make a sustained business out of this? And I think if I just take that little piece of viability and contextualize that into, well, what are my options? What are your options available to you in terms of extending your product lines and continuing your business in terms of product development? And I would say this is a great graph in terms of what are your options and what are the options available to any and every business, regardless if you're a Dyson or if you're a small-time entrepreneur or if you're a small to medium-sized enterprise in the middle. I think it's safe to say within the context of doing product development without the cost, we're not today talking about creating revolutionary products. That is, unavoidably time hungry and cost sensitive and takes a long time. That is not a guaranteed outcome. So what I really want to focus everyone's attention today on is how can you manage the incremental improvement and refreshment of your product lines within your existing supply chain and or differentiating your supply chain so that you can get a better margin on your product. I think most interestingly, however, is the two subsequent ones in terms of how can you add evolutionary products to your current offering, to say that how can you add things to your product roadmap that are both complementary and fit into your brand already, as well as, and I think this is just as interesting, how can you add new users? How can you adapt your product line and your product roadmap evolutionarily so that you can essentially extend your market share and extend your client base? I think those two things in particular, I think for everybody here in terms of extending your business. So yeah, extending evolutionarily and adapting it evolutionarily, both to add new offerings and add new users. I think that is something we should really pay some attention to. So you might ask, that's all well and good. These are the approaches. How do I do this without the cost? And I think for us to really pay attention on the cost that we've removed, let's start with what is the traditional approach to product development. And I would maybe just, phrase this as traditional A to Z product development, which is incredibly important. And I think fundamentally part of what we're describing before in terms of maybe what is off limits today, creating a revolutionary product. Certainly in my past and all my patents, and I think in my previous talk, we talk about how do you provide that defensible position. And I think that is through intellectual property and other things like that. You need this process in order to provide that. However, as you see, it's at least 48 weeks plus in terms of seeing that idea through from your ideation phase into concepting, design, sourcing, production, logistics. It takes time. So what is our alternative? How do we unlock the potential for cost saving? And that's to say, there is actually the ability to have a network-enabled approach to product development, which is drastically shorter in its time frame, and therefore also drastically less in terms of its cost approach. And I'm going to unpack this a little bit more, but just as a side-by-side comparison, what we see at the front in terms of that little green box, which I'd really just pay attention to, is vendor engagement. We're not wanting to do this in a disjointed approach where you're coming up with strategies and ideas without the context of what your supply chain can provide. I think that's a really critical part to this. So I'll just move on to within the context of product development, and I'm going to come back to that process more later on. But who are the key enablers which you as a business really need to try and harness in and have great conversations with? And I would really focus that on market insights data. You're not wanting and won't gain your viability in terms of a differentiated product which gives you longevity in your business if you have not got an insight. Like, what are your competitors doing? How and where are they selling well? And I think I'd really stress more focusedly on where are they not doing well? What are the reviews that people are giving that provide you insight into what you could be doing better for your clients? Second to that is you need some expert resource as well as factory capabilities. Those two in conjunction with your market insights so that you know what it is that you're looking to solve for your problem, what problems you're looking to solve for your end users, in conjunction with linking that in with your expert resource, whether that be a designer or an engineer, with a factory, and getting those two parties to really collaborate. And it's important that they collaborate around a unified process and platform. That from the context of Gemba is something we can provide, but even for you in your independent endeavors, I think it's really important that you consider these 5 key enablers together. How can you join these together in a way that you have a clear insight into what you're looking to execute against and provide collaboration between these parties? What that looks like is to say, having a real focused attention to both client and product needs in a way that is not to say all market insight data. There are a lot of opportunities out there, But within the Venn diagram of where is the unique sweet spot, that the overlap with regards to what is the opportunity in the market, what is the opportunity within your existing or availability of the supplier network, as well as who are the expert resources that can provide you that development so that you can uniquely differentiate your product. I think with this approach in terms of making sure that you've contextualized your market insights with what's available in the factory, with the expert resource you have in a combined, united approach of process development, support, and a platform, that's where you can really start to unlock a speed to market with an amazing execution. But again, I realize I'm maybe speaking at a fairly high level. Let's talk about this in what it looks like in the day-to-day. And this is what the typical product development journey for a creator is, that we are really looking to spearhead and provide to our clients, which is to say, both your service provider and you yourself really needs to understand your brand identity and your roadmap. I showed you those different options in terms of product development and the different guiding principles. I think we really need to, and you really need to understand, what is your ambition in terms of, am I adapting evolutionarily, wanting to add new offerings, or I'm actually looking to get new users? Having a really focused approach of what is my intent as a brand that I'm wanting to do. Taking that forwards into analyzing the markets to say, within that segment that I'm looking to, let's say, adapt evolutionarily and gain new users, who are my competitors? Where are they not performing well? Where can I gain market share and essentially a defensible position against them? And then being really creative in your problem solutions and your brainstorming around what are my product opportunities. And I think the key thing here that certainly we at Gambit provide, and you can try and facilitate for yourself, is what are the actual specific product opportunities? Number 3. And I think the key thing here in terms of reducing the time and cost is to say, you want to do that in conjunction with who are the manufacturers that provide that product already. And I think what we're wanting to do there is to say, work with the manufacturer in conjunction with your designer, so that in step 5, you've got your samples, you've seen what the options are, and you're wanting to then adjust and finalize designs in a way that provides solutions to your users' problems in conjunction with your manufacturer. In traditional A to Z product development, you'll see a very staged approach of your designers and yourselves work in the product creation space prior to then engaging with a manufacturer. And I think what you see there, and that's a very necessary process for a new product, but there is some real inefficiency in terms of feedback from a manufacturer back to a creator, so on and so forth. I think the real thing in enabling low cost, low time approach to product development is adjusting and finalizing those designs within the context of really clearly set guidelines from a manufacturer. Yes, you can change this. No, you can't change that. If you change this, it will add X amount to the time and cost. So I think doing that in a really informed way, so that you can go from stage 1 through to stage 8 in terms of your brand identity roadmap, analyzing the markets, choosing your opportunities, shortlisted your manufacturers, and then the real meat of the product development journey with regards to, you've got your samples, you're adjusting and finalizing the designs, you're straight off to production and logistics, because you've done that in a really united, collaborative effort with your manufacturer, with your design experts. So to bring that alive with regards to a bit of a case study and an example is to say, what have we done in the past? And what we saw with One-on-One Commerce, a product partner with us, is they saw an opportunity within the market in terms of something they could provide. So what we did was essentially shortlist and select manufacturers who provided similar products. But I think the real uniqueness there is, how do we uniquely differentiate and adjust the design of that product to uniquely match the brand identity and incentives and insights that brand, One-on-One Commerce in this case, had. And what we did was, we were able to take the incentive in terms of, we're wanting to adapt evolutionarily, add new users, add a new product. We found a factory, we then developed that product in conjunction with the factory and our designers, and essentially saw a drastically reduced time to market whilst also providing our client a uniquely differentiated product, which was their own, however, with the collaboration of the factory. So I don't know if there are any questions with regards to that. That is the process with regards to how do you approach product development without the cost. I'd really stress that it is in conjunction with the manufacturer and with a combined approach with your market insights data, with your experts. That is how you can develop a new, unique product without the cost. So Karen, any questions on the chat?
Okay, I don't see anything yet. So feel free to type in your questions if you have anything in mind. I was just chatting with the other speakers this morning. Many people are actually on the road now because they are all the shows are back to physical, and I think there's a couple show in Australia this month, and then there's some upcoming in Vegas. So I guess people tend to watch replays more. So I guess it'll be quiet in the private chat, in the instant chat. So I heard from Stephen this morning of Gamba that you guys, besides the free consultation that Gamba will be offering to our participant, you guys are also offering $500 discount if they sign up for your service. So that is really good. That's very kind of you guys.
Yes, and I think in terms of, I mentioned that insights report, like how do you gain market insights within the context of manufacturers? I think if you were to come to Gamba and apply your discount, what we can do is run a report for you to say, around your brand, within the context of the markets and the manufacturers, what are the opportunities available to you? So I think that that'd be an exciting first step for anybody interested.
Yes. Actually, I have a question for you. This morning we had a panel discussion about product design and manufacturer. How do you get these two to work together? Because manufacturers will say they have all these constraints, while product designers will want the most out of everything. How to overcome this kind of issues?
I think twofold, and I think Gemba's uniquely enabled to provide this in terms of it's really important to find the right manufacturer to collaborate with. So in terms of initially finding your unique market insight, like what is the product and the problem set that I'm wanting to solve for, and then matching and finding the right manufacturer against that. So I think what we find there is having access to as broad a network of factories as possible. It's in that process of deduction and selection that you'll find a manufacturer who has a very similar product, who can provide you guidelines within which you can design. And it's in that process of then connecting the factory with your designer that you can collaborate together and uniquely differentiate the product.
So I assume Gamba already have your own network of manufacturer.
Precisely.
That's nice to know. So then if I come to seek for Gamba's help, you guys can have everything done from conception to launching.
Exactly. So I think it's that real client and product focused approach where we take the insights which relate to your brand and roadmap, overlay that with which manufacturers match that capability, who can provide you that service, and who are the experts that have the demonstrated competency to then also work with that manufacturer to bring a unique product to market, which is uniquely your own, however, at a drastically reduced time and cost. Okay,
that is great. Thank you very much, Neil, and I hope to see you again soon.
Great. Thank you for having me, Karen. Thank you, everybody.
Yes. Thank you. See you again soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay. Before we move on to our next session, as mentioned earlier, we do have some verified supplier handpicked by our local teams. So let's see a couple of videos from our suppliers. And in case you're interested in contacting them, you can scan the QR code in the corner of the video and then find all their details. Let's see the first one here.
Shanghai Awesome Houseware was established in 2005, specialized in the manufacturing of smart home products and home storage products. We have established 4 factories in Zhejiang Province and Jiangsu Province. We focus on designing and manufacturing products, devoting ourselves in developing new products and controlling cost of production for customers. Our products has been highly praised by customers all around the world for their creative design, high quality, and competitive price. We dedicate to strict quality control and thoughtful customer service, and has obtained certifications such as CE, ROS, FCC, and so on. Quality, innovation, and design are philosophies in our business. It is a revolutionary solution of keep food fresh longer. Our vacuum food container inhibits bacterial growth and helps to preserve all nutrients. It can be used to store fresh food such as vegetables, fruits, and meats. It's also perfect for storing leftovers, soup, and meal prep. The food container is made of AEST and PCTG food contact material and eco-friendly, washable, and can be used repeatedly. Look, it's done! Wonderful magic! The container is vacuumed so tightly and empty. The top cover has small wave in the center with wave indicator, and you can see the date table to remind you the time you store the food. Just one press of the button, the fresh box can automatically vacuum the air. Isolated from the oxygen, food can be kept fresh longer. It's foldable and stackable storage bin, easy and convenient to use, dustproof with plastic cover. It has better loading bearing than regular storage bin. The material of lid is plastic. The body material is non-woven fabric with 3 mm cardboard and a metal handle on the front. Very easy to move. We have two sizes. Large size is 38, 26, and 24.5. Small size is 17, 26, 17. You can choose one size individually or in combination. This storage box is perfect for organizing your clothes in the bedroom, storing kids' toys in the playroom, arranging books in the study, or setting sundries in the living room.
GRD International is a professional manufacturing and exports for metalware, woodenware within combinations of glass and marble. This unit is SADEX compliant with skilled and experienced staff and artisans, serving clients from all over the globe, major markets like USA, Europe, and Middle East. We offer cost-effective products for day-to-day usage and home decor. Merchandise is thoroughly checked on every step. Our QC department will take the inspection before shipment. We welcome QC team for quality check. Quality is our culture. Disciplined QC inspections are run by our well-trained QC members. They have rich experience in QC inspection on different items. Besides, we can produce designs based on your queries or samples. With a self-owned brand to create uniquely designed product for our clients at a great value. We provide extensive product collection of high quality in various styles such as photo frame, candle holder, decorative lighting and lanterns, barware, wall art, garden stakes, home and kitchenware items and many more. We all are skilled at design to make worthy sourcing for each valued customer with different theme for daily lifestyle, seasonal and festival holidays. Up to 8,000 square feet area for wooden fabrication and expanding to 12,000 square feet. Dynamic scheduling for timely production, optimized manufacturing planning. Since our establishment in 1999, we have successfully provided quality service to our respective retailers, hotel and buying groups. We enthusiastically work to expand on the machinery and working areas. We have good collection of seasonal decorative items for Halloween such as ghost, witch hat, wooden pumpkins, coffin storage shelf. In Christmas such as cone, trees, stars. In Easters such as cute rabbits made of wood. Also have good range of dressing mirrors, figural mirrors, tabletop decor. Here are some sheet metal perforated lanterns, metal wire lantern, wooden lanterns which come under category of lighting. We have a wide range of supreme quality bathroom set made of glass with metal attachments. Also have good collection of storage jar made of glass, having natural rattan weaving over the surface. All designs are done by the skilled artisans. Here are some collection of 2 to 3 tier caddies, countertop organizers, tabletop planter in metal and wood combination. Here it is metal bathroom set with rattan weaving over the surface. These are some good collection of serving trays. All are developed with supreme quality. Some metal wall art flowers. All are handcrafted by the skilled craftsmen.
Okay, so that are 2 videos from our suppliers. And upcoming, as our focus of the summit is growing online sales, you might want to sell to more countries and scale up. Plus, many of our speakers have been sharing about finding manufacturers in different countries, and Yulia of Zignify has highlighted that there is a need to find a backup supplier in different countries due to the current situation. Well, will you need suppliers and product to meet other compliance and shipping requirements in different countries? Up next, we'll have Frederick, co-founder of Asia Importal, to share about product compliance for importer and Amazon sellers. Let me bring Frederick up onto the screen. Hi, Frederick. Hi, you are muted, I think. I can't hear you. Nope, I still can't hear you. No. No worries. We can buy some time here. Well, Frederick is actually based in Hong Kong. We have been having speakers from around the world all day. And then Frederick is based in Hong Kong, and he has been doing quality control and sourcing from manufacturers in both China and Vietnam. So he has a lot of experience in, actually, still no. Okay, now I can hear you, I think.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can hear you. Great. But it's a bit, can you try talking again?
Yes, can you hear me better now?
Yes, that's good. Yeah.
Perfect.
So yeah, Frederick has a lot of experience in quality control and sourcing from manufacturers in China and Vietnam, and he can help to share his knowledge about how to get different products from different countries and also how to sell out to different countries. So Frederick, you want me to pull up your slides, or the one that you sent me earlier, or?
Yes, but I have them here too, so I can just share a tab either way.
Yeah, sure. Feel free to do that. Yeah, you can share your tab. You can share your tab. Yeah.
Let me see. So how do I do that? So it's
you see at the bottom of the screen there's a share button.
Right, share screen.
Yes. And you can pick
Chrome
the tab you want to
tab.
share.
Okay. Can you see the screen now?
Let me add that. Yep, that looks great.
Okay, good. So I keep them zoomed out like this. I think we can keep it like this. Okay, so I just want to clarify something. I will not discuss anything related to sourcing or manufacturing or finding suppliers elsewhere today. This presentation covers product compliance. And what this means, not only when you're selling to other countries, but I think primarily the way that this would impact you when you are, say, importing something to your country. So then I will proceed here, and today I will cover compliance basics, explain what is product compliance, what are some examples of regulatory requirements in the United States and the EU, and I will also look briefly into compliance requirements for Amazon sellers. Okay. So quickly about me, my name is Frederick, co-founder of Asia Importal Hong Kong Limited, based here in Hong Kong. And well, I guess that photo is a bit redundant now, but in any case, I used to be based in Shanghai, mainland China, and later Vietnam. And yes, my background is indeed in manufacturing, in product development and quality assurance. And let's say in the last few years, we have pivoted more to product compliance, and what that means basically comes down to product safety and regulatory compliance when you're selling products. So our flagship website is compliancegate.com, and you can find a lot of free media, articles, webinars, free downloads, and so on, covering a wide range of different compliance topics. But I will link to that at the end of the presentation anyway. So let's move on. So let's start with the basics. This can be a, let's say, quite confusing, quite abstract. But I think after this presentation, many of you will be able to actually relate to this in a much more grounded way. So let's begin with the concept. So when it comes to explaining what product compliance is, it really, at the very core, it's about product safety, ensuring the product is safe. And how do we do that? By designing it according to according to safety standards that are mandatory. Then we have substance restrictions. This refers to chemical content, heavy metal content in everything from textiles to plastics to, well, even chewing gum. Point 3, we have lab testing. So lab testing is referring to verifying compliance. Basically, you send a product to a lab to test if the product is technically compliant, meaning does it meet the safety standards? Does it contain substances above the set limit? Okay, in which case you can't sell it. Then your product will be destroyed and you will get no money. So if you don't comply, you can find complete financial ruin. Point 4, we have certification. This refers to documentation. Documents that you need to obtain to sell your product in, say, the United States, the EU, the UK, and so on. Finally, we have labeling requirements. This is something that you're likely familiar with. CE marking, country of origin, like made in China, made in Mexico, made in the United States, FCC, traceability, even washing instructions, like care labels and so on, in your clothing. That's also that's a compliance requirement. That's not something that they put there just to be nice. It's because it's a legal requirement. You don't have that, you can't sell it. Well, you can. It's just that you take very big risks in doing so. So what is the goal of product compliance? Well, step 1 is that ensure your product is safe and doesn't contain excessive amounts of restricted substances. Second, ensure that you have the right documentation. 3, that the product and the packaging are both correctly labeled. So why should you bother? That's really the big question, right? Like, other than that, the authorities could get angry at you. Well, there's some really big incentives here. And for starters, you're looking at fines, sales bans, product recalls. What this means is that you import, say, LED lighting to the EU, the UK, and it turns out you don't have a declaration of conformity, you don't have a test report, and the market surveillance authorities, they do a random spot check on you, meaning they're going to ask you for these documents, and you don't have these. Well, first of all, you get a sales ban, okay, and get fined. We're talking £10,000 in that region right away for not having the documentation, and that's how it is. There's no recourse. That's your problem in that case, and you can't keep selling. You might even have to buy back everything that you have actually sold. So let's say that you've been selling non-compliant products for 500,000 USD. Well, that's game over in that case. Probably never coming back from that one. And something that's also more common is marketplace removals. If you're selling on Amazon, you're selling toys, for example, and you can't provide a documentation, then you may not even be able to list the product. But something we see very often is that Amazon is quite efficient when it comes to going back and double checking documentation weeks, months, even years after something has been listed. And you get 30 days to provide a documentation. You don't have it, you're gone. So yeah, some pretty big incentives here. Now, what are some real-life examples of unsafe products so we can really understand what this means and why these requirements exist? And I would say typical one would be electrical fires and exploding batteries. Suffocation due to small parts and detached parts, that's in toys, children, strangulation hazards and so on for children and infants, of course, absolutely horrific. Then we have something that really concerns all of us, and that's kitchen products, for example, or like plastic food contact materials that contain high levels of certain chemicals and substances that alter our hormones, which in turn have, horrific effects on fertility, on metabolism, and so on and so forth. Then you have, let's say, things that are, let's say, a bit more light. It could be apparel without the right material labeling. Okay, if I sell a non-tailored item in, say, the United States or the EU or the UK, I need to specify the material, so polyester, 100% cotton, for example. Okay, that's a requirement, and care labeling. Of course, that doesn't make the product unsafe, but you still have to inform consumers. Toys lacking traceability traceability labeling, that's batch ID and so on. Children's product with sharp points, that's another compliance risk. And something that we've seen that's becoming more common, it's stability standards for furniture. There's been a number of deaths reported in recent years about shelves and so on, tipping over when kids start climbing and so on, and this leads to suffocation and death. So who will actually check if your product is compliant? Again, I want to start this presentation by setting the bar to make you understand why this exists and why this is important and what can happen. But if we look at the, let's say, entities that are more common to actually verify your product are compliant, and number one, we have the customs authorities. It's rare that it happens, but they may request test reports and other certification documents. Okay, I would say that this is very rare that they are involved in checking compliance documentation at the point of entry. Something that's more common is that market surveillance authorities in, say, the European Union or the UK or the United States, that they do some sort of check. They even do stealth buys on online stores, meaning that they actually procure products. They go in and they call themselves something else, and they buy products, and then they test that product in one of the labs. And if they find issues, or they see that the labels are not in place, then you will be investigated, and that's when the problems begin. The most common, I would say, is Amazon when it comes to compliance checks. They are a very efficient compliance team. They reach out, they request documentation, and they even do it automatically now for some categories. And you can't supply if you got 30 days or you're out. And if you try to go around that, then if you try to relist it or something, then you're probably looking at a ban. Okay. So the point is, a misunderstanding is often that this is all about getting through customs. Like, I've been importing stuff for 5 years. I've been doing it for 10 years, and I've never had an issue. Well, doesn't mean anything. It's people that they drink and drive for 10 years, nothing happened, doesn't make it legal. So it's the same thing in this situation. It doesn't have anything to do with you getting through customs, getting through the checks. When it comes to importers, okay, or any company that is say designing the product, then it's your responsibility. And I think that's a big misunderstanding. Many are under the assumption that this is something that comes down to the supplier, but that's absolutely not the case. Okay, so let's look into some more practical examples, and we can really break this down into product regulations. And a product regulation is essentially, it's a regulation that in turn sets the requirements in terms of safety standards. Okay, and a regulation may also include provisions concerning documentation requirements or labeling requirements for that matter. So that's where you have to start. The first step is to assess, okay, which are the regulations that apply to my product, because the requirements are different. Some include provisions for labeling requirements, some have documentation requirements, and some have both, and some also have testing requirements, whereas some regulations only concern labeling. So if you look here at this table, right, CPSAA, that's a regulation in the US for children's products. It requires certification, labeling, and lab testing. That's mandatory, okay? Toy Safety Directive in the United States is very similar. Then you have something like country of origin marking, 19 CFR Part 134. That's just a matter of country of origin, but it's a labeling requirement. And then we have REACH in the EU, which ultimately there's no labeling requirement, there's no real certification requirement. It really only comes down to lab testing in order to ensure compliance. So you need to first identify the regulations, because they will inform you. Well, the regulation informs you about the more specific requirements that you have to take into consideration. That's step one. Okay, lab testing then. So the purpose of lab testing is to verify that the product is compliant. And lab testing can be chemical testing, electrical safety testing, food contact material testing, flammability testing. And also physical properties. Let's say if you got a toy, for example, it shouldn't break easily. It shouldn't break into sharp points and so on. That, yeah, I think you get the point. You shouldn't be able, like a baby shouldn't be able to open up the toy and swallow, say, a battery or some beads or whatever. Anything that couldn't be a strangulation or sort. So what will happen is you receive a test report. Once you submit your product, you will receive a test report. As a process usually takes anything from a few days to 10, 14 days. And it can either fail or it can pass. So pass, that means that your product passed testing according to the applicable regulations and standards. Fail means that it didn't pass. The test report can be required as evidence to prove that your product is compliant. And that's the whole point of this. This is an example of a test report. So in this case, this is a REACH test report issued by one of the more well-established, very well-established, they've been around for like 180 years or something, SGS in Switzerland. They have lab facilities all over the world, including in mainland China. And yeah, I'm pretty sure also in India and Vietnam and so on. But in any case, here we can see that everything is passed. So that's good. That's good. So some couple of examples here. REACH testing, that's chemicals and heavy metals. California Proposition 65, again, is chemical and heavy metals. And ASTM F963, that's a bit more comprehensive in scope. So we see that it's not just the regulations that differ in scope, but also the standards also differ in scope when it comes to testing. Okay, so task 2, that's to arrange testing. Okay, let's look into documentation. So certification is generally referring to documents declaring that your product is compliant, and essentially a statement that's normally self-issued based on a test report. It could be a statement where I write that, okay, this product is product name, conforms to these and these regulations or standards, and it's imported and manufactured by me, well, my company, on this date. That's what a certificate could be. Here's one example. This is a children's product certificate. This is mandatory. This is something you just type it up, using Word or Google Docs or whatever. It's not something you obtain from the government. It's not a permit or anything like that. But you still need it, or you can be fined. This is the, let's say, equivalent for the European Union. It's the exact same thing. It's self-issued. Now, you would need a lab test report to support this, because it's based on you arranging testing. If you don't have a test report, you don't really have any basis for this. That's the same thing as, I don't know, creating fake receipts for your company accounting. That's not a good idea when you get audited eventually and go to jail for that. Okay, anyway, task 3. So that's to create the compliance documentation. Okay, now we get to something that's maybe a bit more relatable. That's labeling. That's something I'm sure you've seen this. So labeling is something that's mandatory for, like in the US, there's labeling requirements of every single product sold in the US. Examples include text labeling, compliance mark like the CE mark, country of origin, warning labels and warning statements, traceability, and of course also import and manufacturer information. Generally speaking, these should not be stickers. They should be permanent marks, okay? So this is something that, again, it goes back to step 1. You need to identify the regulations, and based on that, based on the regulations, you can then determine which labeling requirements may apply. Here are some examples. You may have seen some of this. This is a traceability label, part of CPSA or tracking label in the US. If I will sell in the EU, then I will need something like this. I think this is part of the PPE regulation. Okay, so task 4 is to create the label files. All right, so the big question that will really come down to in this case is how do we research the regulatory requirements? It can be a bit messy, but I think you should start by breaking this down. That's the first thing you should consider here. And what I mean by that is you need to identify the product type. Is it a children's product? What are the materials, and what are the age group? Then you need to look at country or market, and even state if it's say in the US. Okay, so there's no international system. Like the United States has its own regulatory requirements, so that's the EU, so that's the UK, Australia, China has its own, of course. So yeah, these are the things you need to determine first of all. And just to be clear, this is not just about when you sell in other countries. You are of course responsible for ensuring product compliance also when it comes to importing in your own country. So I really want to mention that. So when you attempt to do research, this is all public information, right? So it's not secret. This can all be found online. So for starters, you could start looking at, say, the European Union website, eceuropa.eu. If you're selling in the US, I would also start by looking at cpsc.gov for electronics, fcc.gov for full contact materials, eyewear and so on, fda.gov, and for country of origin labeling and so on, that you can also find some good information, FTC. Unfortunately, no unified source. Another recommendation is to reach out to your lab, or a lab if you don't have one, to ask them about confirming the applicable standards at the very least. They usually don't confirm anything when it comes to certification or labeling requirements, but to get a list of applicable standards, at least that's you can start there, and you can find a bit of information in the Amazon Seller Central. Okay. Other than that, I also recommend that you download one of our free guides, which quite brief summaries, easy to digest. Not going to take you more than 5 minutes to get through these each of these on compliancegate.com/downloads. So the guides, you cover the US, the EU, Amazon compliance requirements, and also a general compliance checklist. That's quite comprehensive. So that's compliancegate.com/downloads. Let me actually double check that. Yeah, that's right. So you go there, you can download it. All right. We also have a platform that can help you. You log in and you use the platform to identify regulatory requirements. You can create some of these certificates and label files, and also book lab testing. So it's sort of an all-in-one platform that's used by quite a few established brands in the US, UK, the EU, and also here in Asia Pacific. All right, so that's the main presentation. Any questions by any chance?
Thank you very much, Fredrik. And hi, Ankit. Thanks for saying hi to us. It's good to see people typing in the live chat. If you have any questions for Fredrik, do type into the live chat box. Meanwhile, I have a question for you. How often do you see people failing in meeting all the lab test requirement or the labeling requirement?
Well, it really depends on the company size. If you look at big companies, it could be in mainland China, like Huawei or Xiaomi or IKEA, other Western brands. They don't fail. It's easy for them. They have engineers, they have compliance teams. This is an issue for those that are starting off and small brands, small importers that have been going for a couple of years. They tend to fail because they often make assumptions that the supplier should sort this or something like that.
Yeah, okay. And learning that basically the States and EU have very different standard. How long let's make it an example, kids clothing. If I used to sell in the EU and now I want to sell to the States, how long would that lab test take to change, to get everything done and relabeled?
Okay, well, lab testing, you're looking at 10 to 14 days. But what can really take time is to research the regulatory requirements, create the label files and so on. And that really comes down to the budget. You go to a consultant or you have any form of support, then it can be done in 2 days. If you do it yourself, then depends.
Yes, and that's where Compliance Gate can come in to help save all the time and hassle. I still don't see any questions from the audience at the moment, because I guess, as mentioned earlier, many people are on the road and they might just watch a replay afterwards, because all our summits will be available on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook afterwards. And for those that are interested in seeking Frederick's help in launching your products to new market, do reach out to him at Compliance Gate. Let's see. That seems like, okay, we have one question here. Please advise on turnaround time for African countries. So I assume that means doing lab tests and having all the labels ready for African countries?
Yeah, so well, for starters, that would really depend on the African country, as there's, it's a very big place, right? It's a continent, so you would have a completely different set of regulatory requirements in Nigeria as compared to, say, South Africa, right? I'm not an expert. I know there are compliance requirements like SONCAP in, say, Nigeria, and that's more, a matter of approval, which I don't know. I think that actually requires like some sort of government approval. That's primarily for industrial equipment, as far as I know. I have no idea when it comes to say textiles and so on, but in that case, if it exists, then it would likely be very similar to anything you would have in, say, the EU, the US, in terms of chemical restrictions and so on. It would take about the same time. It wouldn't be radically different, and it would be the same in South Africa and so on. Like, it's a completely different game, when it comes to anything that is actually based on you, the importer, or receiving some sort of permit or approval, which I have no experience with. But lab testing for it doesn't really differ depending on the country when it comes to testing. Unfortunately, I don't have any expertise with Botswana. I'm sorry about that. But if you do lab testing for the Botswana market, I don't see why it would take any longer than any other country. So still looking 10 to 14 days if I need to get to a point.
So Mo, you can reach out to Frederick at compliancegate.com, and then he can help you. He can tailor a service for you there. Okay. So thank you very much. And meanwhile, Frederick will be with us again in the upcoming physical show in Hong Kong. And after 2 years of long wait, the famous Global Source exhibition will return in October 11th to 14th. And I believe Frederick, you'll be on at our physical show on October 12th, if I didn't remember wrong. Yeah, and then you'll be sharing about selling to expanding your market there. So for those that want to join us, do scan the QR code shown in the corner of the screen right now. And there will also be a virtual expo, so you can scan that code and register in case you can't come anyways. So I guess that's it for now. So if you have questions, you can message Frederick, and I'll look forward to seeing you next month.
All right. See you next month.
Okay. See you next month. Bye. Okay. Up next, let's see what two more of our suppliers have to offer. Let's see.
Thank you for your visit. We are Answell from Taiwan. You may also call us Thermal Solution Provider. I believe that you already have a brief impression about us via the video which just displayed. For our further introduction, we would like to show you our most hot sale items. Number 1, thermostat. Please refer to the display board below. As you can see, we have various kinds of thermostat. In other words, we can customize the goods according to your demand. Even though you would like the product with wire or any other special request, we can try our best to meet all your needs.
Number 2, a DC sensor. As the world trend is moving forward to smart home, The demand of NTC sensors is quickly rising, and the sales of our NTC sensors increased a lot these years. You can apply this product to many different appliances, such as underfloor heating or air conditioning.
Number 3, thermocouple. If your demanding protection temperature is extremely high, for example, more than 300 degrees, 1000 degrees, and so on, thermocouple will be your best friend. No matter you need K-type, J-type, penetration type, surface type, or clamp type, please don't hesitate to write us a mail or give us a call. We are willing to cooperate with you. For further information of our other products, please visit our website. You can find a lot of treasure there. Thank you for your listening. Have a nice day.
Hello, we are Intercontinental Marketing Service Far East Cooperative Limited. We are Taiwan-based company, and we are one of the biggest kitchenware exporters in Taiwan, with 30 years experience. Our business partners are covering all over the world. We currently engage hundreds SKU every year, including bakeware, barware, cooking utensil, kitchen gadget, barbecue, and cleaning brush. Our factory has BSCI, SMETA, and ISO certifications. Do you know how to customize your products without spending tooling fee? Today, we are going to show you 2 products with a very simple way to customize your own products. The first product is calorie organizer. This product, with 2 different material combinations. The top wire is made of rose gold finish, and the bottom one is made of acacia wood. How do you customize your products? What we can do is to change the wire to different finish. It could be rose gold finish like this, or you can change to matte black finish like this, or you can change to metallic silver coating like this. As for bottom part, you can use acacia wood like this, or you can change to bamboo, or you can use beech wood. Also, you can engrave your logo on the products wherever you want, or you can choose to have pattern printing on your products. With these changes, only require MOQ 1200 pieces. The second product is falafel press. This is a special and unique kitchen gadget. It becomes very popular in these 2 years. The entire pieces of this product is made of stainless 304. It comes apart for easy cleaning and is dishwasher safe. There are 2 sizes available, the small version and the big version. It could also come with a spoon spatula. You could also have engraved your logo on the products. The MOQ for this item is about 1,000 pieces. These 2 products, each one has their own features. The most important is we can customize with your own design and your own look, or we can help design the products for you. Hope you are interested in our products and enjoying the video today. Thank you for your time. Bye-bye.
That's all for this session of the summit. I'm sure I've picked up a lot from the speakers, and if you haven't had the chance to watch the earlier session, don't forget to watch our replay on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook. The speakers had some splendid sharings. Our next session will begin at 7 a.m. Hong Kong time, which will be 7 p.m. East Coast and 4 p.m. West Coast if you're in the States. We'll have Chris Rawlings to talk about how to get more clicks for free without paying for traffic and win over your competitors. Yulia to tell you supply chain and sourcing problems 2022 and how Zignify can help you overcome the problems. Jeff Cato from Jasco to share about winning online in turbulent times. Mike from our platinum sponsor PingPong to show you a demo on their platform and unlock the growth of your international expansion. And then Chris Walker from Ho Chi Minh City will tell you as a local expert and moving production to Vietnam to scale up. And last but not least, we'll have Crystal, founder of Amazon Seller Society, to talk about smart sellers' strategy to increase sales and reduce costs in your online business. For a full agenda, please visit us at globalsources.com/summit. So stay tuned and don't miss out on exciting content. You can also let us know how we did via the questionnaire that we sent out later and send a chance to win a trip to our upcoming physical show that will take place on October 11th to the 14th. So see you again. Bye-bye.